Mr. Pep Figueiredo is a member of the Emmy Awards jury and a council member with GLG Ireland. He is an alumnus at the MET Institute of Mass Media, having further studied in Duke University, University of California, Davis for content marketing strategy and Harvard University to learn data sciences. He started his journey as an assistant manager in media E2E. He has been a manager at Group M, handling branded content for Unilever. He has been a manager of content with Sony Pictures Networks India. He is an ex SonyLIV powerhouse, an international speaker, and digital content business specialist since 2006 with YouTube, Filmaka, Culture Machine, and Digiquest in India. Now, producing a promotional music video for the Hollywood blockbuster Passengers, producing Pyar Ishq Rent, creating one of the first cricket shows on digital Sunny Views with Sunil Gavaskar, Fair and Square with Ajay Jadeja, Rochelle Rao, and Sahil Khattar, to producing the first ever Gujarati web series Kacho Papad Pakko Papad, a Diwali festival related.
That is Kacho Papad Pako Papad. Kacho
Kacho
would be
Papad.
Hindi,
Okay, yes. Kacho Papad Pakko Papad, a Diwali festival related short film titled hashtag Fair Start for UNICEF, and even the first ever set of virtual reality 360-degree music videos performed live among the numerous other short format films and web shows. This is just a small list of his achievements, as we've seen, and I'm sure there is a lot to learn from him. So I'd like to welcome you once again, sir.
My name is Pep Figueiredo, and I was a part of the M2 batch of MET Entertainment, Mass Media Entertainment. Uh, I graduated in entertainment during our time. I'm not sure if you still have this format, but it's an 18-month course. So basically, we had the first 3 months of journalism, advertising, entertainment, and the remaining 15 months into our specialization of entertainment. My specialization was screenplay writing and film direction. So and film production. So basically, exactly what Mr. Samar Nakate was teaching us. Uh, what I've let me just address the elephant in the house. So what I felt was missing during our time was a more elaborate understanding of the business of entertainment, which through the years I emphasized with the institute, and I've been very lucky and blessed that they try and organize one session at least with one batch where I give you an overview of how the business of content and how the business of entertainment works. Basically, this is not taught or in any institute as such, because they are very, it's a very niche market, and very few people around the world deal with this, and it's like a small family. So basically, I know almost everybody from Christchurch to California who deal in content today in the world. So even next month, I'll be traveling for a conference to France where I'll be giving a talk. But again, coming back to what I was saying, what I did was, or what ideally, I'm giving an example of myself. You can follow it if you want. What I did was I set a target for myself when I was in the institute. I said to myself that let's see what the three sections have to offer, what advertising has to offer, what journalism has to offer, and whether I'm going in the right direction by selecting entertainment, as my career. And I was in the right direction. I was very lucky to have really good professors who guided us, guided all of us. We were a batch of 32 people in the right direction, including the gentleman who will be speaking after us, who is Mr. Kushal Srivastava, my batchmate and my very good friend. So, coming back to what I was saying, I set a target for myself of 15 months. I decided I will make 15 films. By 15 films, I mean at that time there were the concept of series didn't exist. Series only existed in television as a format. So Kushal, myself, and the rest of us, we all helped each other with whatever we could, and I produced and directed 15 short films in MET itself when I was in MET. What I did was when I shot my first short film, and when the first short film was ready, my professors felt the film was good enough to go into a film competition. But I was just a student, and I thought, uh, you know, uh, I don't think so. This is possible. But what we did was, as a group, we all entered our films into competitions, and my film stood first. Like it won an award. So from there was no looking back. It gained more confidence, created more films, and stuck to the target. Once I was out of the institute, I mean, I passed out, I graduated, I got placed into a media company. From there, my journey forwarded into, I went into production. I assisted on a couple of feature films, and I was very lucky to, at a very young age, to get an opportunity to direct, as in be as a director. So I started directing ad films. Now these films were being shot all over India. So I was flying to places like Delhi, Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad. Uh, we won the Prime Minister's E-Governance Award for a campaign that I did with Mr. VVS Lakshman, where a very unfortunate incident happened in Hyderabad, and we shot a campaign around it. And the entire campaign won an e-governance award, the Prime Minister's e-governance award. That's where we were felicitated by the government of Andhra Pradesh also at the time. Then I got one day I got a call from a lady called Aishwarya Dhanush. She was shooting a film called Mooda. Mooda means three in Tamil, and her husband had sung a song for it, Dhanush. The song was Kolavaridi. The song needed visuals. In it was shot for as a music video, casual music video, which went viral and became a big hit. Was bought over by Sony, and I wrote the branding integrations and the visuals for the song. And the song is what it is today. After that, I went on to work with many music directors because I was very musically inclined. Come from a background of musicians. So my mom used to be in a rock band, and she was a part of two bands, and she was the lead singer and can play any instrument by the ear. She's not a trained musician. So I think I got those qualities from her, and worked. I worked. I mean, I directed for music directors like, or musicians like Lucky Ali, Himesh Reshamya. Basically, in the I made a conscious effort to stay in commercial cinema, or stay in popular entertainment. I didn't want to foray into art and any other form of entertainment, mainly because we had decided in MET itself that that wouldn't earn us any money, as simple as that. From there, continuing with what I was doing in digital, uh, at the time there was a company just coming up called Culture Machine. Culture Machine was a company that ran channels, YouTube channels for channels like Being Indian, SNG Comedy, I think AIB and all also. So I started directing for Culture Machine, and we were at the time scoring millions of views, which was very new as a concept at that time, and which was a great thing. And from there, I got get a call from Sony Pictures. Sony Pictures was one of the first companies who had started an OTT app called SonyLIV. SonyLIV earlier was called Video Chaska. From Video Chaska, we founded a founding team that started a general entertainment content or web series in SonyLIV. Our first web series was Love Bites. And again, that started my stint at Sony for 5 years. There was no looking back. I produced, as in the capacity of a producer, I produced web series, short films, virtual reality videos, music videos, and many other innovations in sports. So you can Google this. You can Google my name if you can see my name online, and just type Sony as a tag alongside it. and you will see everything that I've done for Sony. From there, I again set a target for myself at Sony. I said I won't spend more than 5 years over here. I spent 5 years over there, and after that, I joined a project that was being led by Facebook for 3 months. There was a tie-up between Facebook and IPL, so I worked on that alongside Vrinder Sehwag in the field of sports. And post that, mm, so during my journey at Sony, I was very honored and very lucky to be selected by the Emmy Awards as a juror. So I became a judge, and since then, my association with them has been for more than 10 years now. I've been a judge with the Emmy Awards. That is basically the international academy. The academy would be your Oscar awards, Emmy Awards, international Emmys, stuff like that. So I judge web series all around the world, and people get Emmy Awards from there. And post that, I am the grand. I unfortunately turned into a grand old man of content since then, and have been selected as a council member for a company in Ireland called Dainik Group, which is a consultancy. We have clients all around the world who I consult. So this is a very small version of this journey of mine of 16 years. I would like you guys to introduce yourselves. I would like you to introduce yourselves as a name in this form, which what are you doing, basically entertainment or journalism, and I would like to know what do you want to do. So basically there is a point A from where you started, point B where you are today, and point C, I want to know where you want to go. So over to you, Annette.
I'm Annette Samuel, and I've chosen advertising as a specialization right now. I am interested in content writing for starters, but I do have a leaning towards consumer insights and would really like to get into the research and consumer research and consumer insights where I can be the strategy team, developing the idea for for a product and for the advertising.
Okay.
Hello, sir. This is Avinash Gupta. I'm a
Hi.
graduate in mass media. Currently, I'm pursuing my advanced diploma in mass media and specializing in advertising, and I'm looking forward to be a social media manager.
Great.
Hello, sir, and hello, everyone. So, my name is Harshita Sherwa, and currently I'm pursuing mass media course from MET, specializing in entertainment, and I'm more inclined towards marketing and brand management. So, still, I'm very confused with like what to choose, but my interest is into marketing. So, let's see what comes next.
Which is perfect. You don't worry, you're in the right track. There is a very booming film marketing and digital marketing industry today, so you are on the right track. Don't worry. Okay, I will guide you. Don't worry.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, next we have Josh Vora.
Yes, sir. So I graduated in BBA and currently specializing in digital marketing. And I aspire to become a digital strategist or would be a content strategist. So I haven't figured it out yet.
Awesome. No problem. But you're in the right direction. Don't worry. Awesome, Josh. Who's next?
Keith Baptista.
Hi, sir. I'm Keith. I'm a graduate in BCom. I have experience of being a client servicing executive as well as social media manager. I even pursued photography, and I still continue to do that. But I want to get back into the field of media and pursue maybe client servicing or brand management.
Brilliant. Excellent. Who teaches you cinematography, if you have the subject?
So we had 2 sessions of photography.
Okay.
Practical session by Kshitej Patwardhan.
Yeah.
Excellent. Very good.
Hello everyone, I'm
Hi,
Mansi.
Mansi.
So I have graduated from Khalsa College and I have done specialization in advertising. And currently, I am pursuing advertising itself from MET Institute. And I keep I prefer interest in writing, like copywriting, content, and I still have not figured out what I want to pursue. But I would definitely go for copywriting and also CRM, like customer relationship management and stuff.
Brilliant, brilliant, awesome.
Hello, sir. I'm Nashata. I've completed my graduation in BCom from Jahan College, and currently I'm specializing in entertainment from Met Institute of Mass Media. I am more into PR first of all, and then into screenplay and writing. And I'm confused between which to choose.
Can you tell me the two options again? Your voice just cracked off for me.
Into screenplay, writing, and PR.
Okay, cool.
Myself, Omkar Ashok Kolamkar. I have completed
Hi,
my
Omkar.
graduation in BMM from Vidyalankar School of Information Technology. I have experience in graphic designing, and I am currently pursuing digital marketing from Met Institute of Colleges, and I aspire to become a social media marketer.
Excellent. That's amazing.
Good afternoon, sir. Myself, Ravina Rajwani, and I had done my graduation in BMM from Ruya College, and I have experience in newspapers agency, and now I'm pursuing in digital marketing from MET.
That's great. That's great. Awesome.
So I'm Riya Mhatre. I have a background in BMM, and just after my BMM, I started working as a social media executive at a digital agency. I also have some experience in, actually, alongside that, I was also client servicing for a production house and a few celebrities. As much as I enjoyed that, I did want to do a post graduation. So here I am. I'm doing my specialization in advertising, but I know that I'd love to go back to doing what I was doing before. Thank you.
That's great. Who's next?
Ruchi?
Good afternoon, sir. This is Ruchi Negi. I've completed my bachelor's in mass media journalism. Right now, I'm doing specialization in entertainment. I want to pursue my career into PR or in an entertainment sector.
All right, great.
And then we have Shreyas.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon. Sir, sorry, my
Hi,
camera
Shreyas.
won't be I won't be able to on it because of some internet issues. But I would
Same
like
here.
to tell you about myself. I've done my graduation in the field of commerce from Podar College, and after graduation, I did work as a marketing executive for a small scale firm. But finally, I found my interest, and now I'm working hard to be a aspiring copywriter.
That's great. That's great. I don't know if you guys realize this. We just told a small story about ourselves. Did you realize that? Okay. So this is exactly what I am trying to do, or trying to make you aware of, and trying to guide you in terms of how to tell a story. Whichever field we are in right now, whether it's advertising, journalism, or entertainment, if you notice the common link over there is we are all telling some type of story or the other, whether the story is about the past, or whether it's current affairs or news, or whether we want to tell a story as a filmmaker of how the future is going to be, you know, or if we are into non-fiction storytelling, or non-fiction is also storytelling in India. You will realize that not everything that is shown on camera or shown on screen is organic. Things are also fabricated, which is important as a format in India, and we need to understand how to, as makers, as creators, as copywriters, as professionals, we need to understand how to formulate the stories. Let me just bifurcate storytelling into two forms. One is the form that we just narrated as an introduction of each other, short format of storytelling, and one is a form of long format of storytelling. Okay, so if you understand narrative, there is if you guys want, you can write notes about it. But narrative is divided into three parts. Information that we provide about the character. Okay. Conflict, that what difficulties the character goes through, and resolution or destiny or climax, where the story ends or what happens to the journey of that character. All right. If you are telling the story in this form that I just mentioned of information, conflict, and resolution, you are Mr. Yash Chopra. But if you want to show the conflict before giving the information about the character, and then you give information about the character, and then you show what happens to the character, you are Mr. Anurag Kashyap. So that's the difference. You can jumble based on this. It comes from individual style. It depends on what you want to portray to the public, and what you feel is important that the public or your reader or your viewer needs to know. All right. So this is the basic structure of storytelling. What I want you to do is, what you have done right now was you just gave an introduction of yourselves in say 4 lines. Okay. So I want you to think of an incident. It either would have happened to you, or it either would have happened to a friend of yours, or something that you have witnessed. Okay. I just want you to write it down, and the person who finishes first will narrate it to the group. All right. Your time starts now. Even if it's a film, or if it's a short film or a series that you have seen, you can write that down also. There is no issue. It's just that your story or whatever you're narrating needs to be impactful. So no stress, no sweat. Even if you do not want to write, it's cool.
So on one fine day when I was traveling to college, I live in Kalyan and my college was in Grant Road. So I used to travel for 1.5 hours every day. To and fro made it 3 hours on a daily basis. Now me being this very enthusiastic kid who wanted to travel to college, of course, some days I would eat breakfast, some days I wouldn't. And not to realize that I wouldn't eat anything during college also, because time was less or some reason like that. I'd always skip meals and not pay too much attention to it, to one day just falling blacking out in a crowded train when I passed Thane one day. That day I realized that a checkup was due, after which I was dragged to the close by hospital by my own friends who were standing around me when I dropped. I was standing straight and I dropped where I was standing in the moving train, only to open my eyes after 20 minutes of blackout. On going to the hospital, I realized that my hemoglobin's level were in single digits, which is like very, very low. And that is when I realized, that I have a hectic lifestyle. Although I enjoy being busy, it is also important for me to pay attention to what I eat and take care of myself, and not to get too immersed in what I'm doing. So after the checkup, of course, there were a lot of other health issues that came with it. But only to bring me to realization that if I have to be a part of this hectic industry or have to be a part of the happening lifestyle, I have to maintain myself and keep myself fit to be able to give my best as I want to.
Awesome. Okay, so can you mute yourself? So the question is for the group. Can someone tell me what is the information in this?
So the information, the information could be Annette being Annette. She's very enthusiastic, so she likes being everywhere, and she's very sincere. So that is one of the things that made her get ignorant towards her health while carrying out a daily, routine. And
great. So now break it down technically. If we write a script in the form of interior, location, day or night. Okay. So keeping the local train, as where the scene happened. That would be interior local train day. All right, and then you introduce your character. So that would be and it is so and so that you just mentioned. All right, so that is the information that she provided us. Can someone tell me what is the conflict in this story?
May I? The
Sure,
time
sure,
when
sure.
she passed out, I mean, it can be the conflict when she passed out and the blackout.
Yes, and why did that passing out or blackout happen?
The hemoglobin levels
I was in.
are low.
Skipping of breakfast.
So can we conclude that that was the conflict? That was the main issue. So एक कहानी hemoglobin की. On a lighter note, what is the resolution of the story?
So she getting her checkup done and then coming to the realization. Yeah.
Sorry, somebody was saying to be ready. Sorry,
Good.
I couldn't see that.
Yes, sir. So I was saying she have to be industry ready and she has to stay fit to deal with things and be industry ready. Yeah, I mean.
Absolutely right. So in a copywriting format, we can conclude with this. Okay, that's nice, Harihar. Okay, now what happens to her between waking up after 20 minutes, going to the hospital, and then realizing that she has low hemoglobin is a part of layering the conflict. So, for example, this is what I wanted to introduce you to next. This is called long format of storytelling. So, for example, in the structure of information, conflict, and resolution, if you layer your conflict, like for example, and it passed out in the train, unfortunately. Luckily, she had her friends around. So you are just layering your conflict so that you can elongate the storytelling right up. Like for example, in a feature film format, or in newspaper writing or feature writing, or when you write features for magazines, especially you need to tell a little longer story than in the case of print media, where you're just telling 120 words or 80 words of a story. So in a more a longer format of storytelling, you need to layer your conflict even better, so that the viewer who's reading it, or the viewer who is watching it on screen, whether in the form of web series or a short film or a feature film, stays on his seat or on her seat and watches and is engaged in your story. So you need to make it more engaging. Engaging is the key. Okay, especially in our three fields of storytelling. Okay, and the resolution can be that so you can have many resolutions to your story. In Annette's case, it was a correct me if I'm wrong, it was a self realization that she needs to take, number one, take care more of her health. She very rightfully understood what the problem is with her, and I'm guessing you are taking good care of your health now, and I hope it doesn't happen. We all pray that it doesn't happen to you again. And and rightly how Harihar put it in a copywriting format, that there is a social message. In his case, in what Harihar mentioned, there is a social message that comes to light over here. So does anybody have any queries on this? You can ask me. It's cool. So that's your format or structure of storytelling. It's simple, it's understood, right? Am I clear?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Who wants to go next?
So I have a story. Mine was similar on those similar lines. College, train. Those
Okay.
I have written.
Okay, go for it.
So one fine day, I was in my 11th. Okay, to begin with, I have knee issues, and I'll begin with why. So one fine day, I was running late for my practicals, and I was rushing. So I tried catching a running train. I managed to catch a running train, but it was the luggage compartment. And as you know, the luggage compartments do not have a middle pole; they just have the side handles. So I jumped and I stepped onto the railing of the train, caught one handle, but bounced back down, and I kept bouncing till for almost more than half of the platform, and got dragged. Somehow within that, it was just a few seconds, but the thoughts that were running at that time were a million thoughts. You could see a lot of things. I could see a lot of things of my life, running in my head. It was on repeat. And at the same time, you can even imagine me trying to prevent my legs from going underneath. And eventually they couldn't really pull me while the train was running, so somebody had to pull the chain, and as the train slowed down, they managed to pull me back in. Then I was a bit shocked. My jeans were ripped, my shoes went for a toss, my brand new headphones broke. So finally they stopped me. People were kind enough to ask me why was I rushing. Somebody gave me some lemonade to drink, and yeah, I just got the next train and I went back. But the next went to give my exam, and from the next day onwards, I could actually feel the pain. So I had to go to the doctor, and I didn't really do the surgery, but I take care of my knees now. I make sure not to take a running train or not to do anything that is too heavy on my knees.
That is a really scary story. All right, can somebody break it down for us into its structure?
So
Let me ask you a question. What did Keith start with? He didn't provide any information about himself. So
He
what did he
started
start?
with a problem.
He started
has
with
a-
the problem. Yeah, he started with the conflict. He
Conflict.
jumped into a train. He started bouncing. Okay, and
but there was a little bit of information also, like he said he was running late for his practical exams. So, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
just adding.
but he provided it after he told us what he was doing on the train. So he went the conflict information
Yeah,
resolution
it
way.
began with the
So
conflict.
yeah, what I picked up were tone jeans. I think there is Shreyash who's given us a social message. Shreyash says, "Hurry, hurry." So that's your resolution, and that's a takeaway for your readers or your viewers, whoever has viewed your story in Crime Patrol or has read it somewhere on social media. Okay, who wants to go next? Yes, Hariyar, आप बोलिए.
So it's fine. Riya can because पहले भी मैंने बोला था.
आप बोलिए, कोई बात नहीं,
It's
आप बोलिए.
all right. It's all right.
Yes, sir. So
Riya will say talk after you.
no worries, sir. Yes, sir. So my story won't be such. I mean, this too much of I'm sorry, I'm not getting the word exactly. Ki, there won't be too much of this moral message or something, but it's like ki, what I learned. It's like ki, when I was in a junior degree college. So I
Hariyar,
had
can I
some
stop
pretty.
you? Sorry, can I stop
Yes,
you? Let's change the format a bit. Let's change the language
so
of the storytelling. आप हिंदी
should I
में
go
बोलिए.
with the?
आप
No,
हिंदी में
no,
बोलिए.
sir. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
Should I go with the 3x structure? I mean the proper order.
No, you have already started with the resolution, if you've realized that. So
Actually, sir.
continue. So the thing is that we need to tell stories in our own style. बस हम यही
Yes,
कर
sir.
रहे हैं. आप अपने स्टाइल में बोलिए, हम सुन रहे हैं. Continue, please.
All right, sir. सो सर डिग्री कॉलेज की बात है व्हेन मतलब वो टाइम पे बहुत सारे मेरे कुछ फ्रेंड्स थे जो एक्चुअली शेर व शायरी या फिर स्टैंड अप कॉमेडीज एंड एवरीथिंग में थे सो कुछ लोगों ने मुझे रिकमेंड भी किया कि व्हाई डोंट यू ट्राई और या फिर तुझे भी एक बार शेर व शायरी या फिर समथिंग पोयम जैसे क्योंकि बहुत स्निपेट्स में मैं लिखता था सॉर्ट ऑफ हाइकू एंड समथिंग सो मेरी एक दोस्त ने मुझे एक ऑफर किया इट्स लाइक कि अराउंड 2 o'clock को एक जगह पे ओपन ओपन माइक स्टैंड था इट वाज रिलेटेड एनीथिंग यू कैन परफॉर्म सो मेरे फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन था कि द फियर कि मैं जाऊं ना जाऊं और ऊपर से अगर जाऊंगा तो भी मे भी मतलब बोलते ना फर्स्ट टाइम था अगर कुछ गलत हुआ तो पूरा क्योंकि मेरे दोस्त भी आते थे तो उनके सामने थोड़ा सा बोलते हैं ना लेट डाउन हो जाऊंगा मैं, और ऊपर से एक बहुत नर्वस टाइप फील भी आ रही थी। बट उसी टाइम पे मेरा और एक भी एक नॉट एन एग्जाम बट एक टेस्ट था हम लोग का ही, तो वो भी हमें 12 o'clock तक कंप्लीट करना था। देन फिर बाद में मुझे विलेपाले से बैंड्रा जाना था। सो ऐसे सब करते करते होने के बाद फाइनली मैं घर पे आ गया। एक्चुअली मुझे जाना था बट टेस्ट के बाद मैं घर पे आ गया। मैंने सोचा एटलीस्ट हाफ एन आवर तक तो सोचा, फिर मैं बोला कि लीव इट वॉट एवर। तो फिर बाद में मैं रेडी हुआ और ऊपर से मैं गया वहां पे बैंड्रा में। फिर बाद में मैं एक्चुअली कुछ 15 to 10 मिनट्स पहले आ गया था, तो उन लोगों ने इतना स्टार्ट नहीं किया था बट अरेंज करे थे, बट पार्टिसिपेंट्स आ गए थे वहां पे बैठे थे। देन फिर बाद में वही टाइम पे लाइक जस्ट कि मैं सोचा कि 3-4 लोगों के बाद मैं जाऊंगा। देन स्टिल मुझे और वो एक पैनिक आया कि अरे अभी मेरा नाम आएगा, क्योंकि एक स्लॉट दिए थे तो मेरा समथिंग फिफ्थ था। सो आई सेड कि नहीं, द फिफ्थ मुझे तो फोर्थ पर्सन था ना, वो एक्चुअली कहीं पे तो चला गया था, उसको अर्जेंट कॉल आ गया, तो फिफ्थ के जगह मैं फोर्थ आ गया एंड आई परफॉर्म। So honestly, it was really good, and that after performance and everything, मैंने तो पहले बोला था just to be safe कि this is my first time, so कुछ गलत हो जाएगा तो please sorry, but it was like a sympathy gain करता, but still the response that I got, so I understood कि if you are feeling nervous or anything, but still if you have the willing to just go, ignore the fear and just do it, whatever the resolution would be, it would be good or bad, but the most important is the effort. So the effort I tried. So what I felt ki, my efforts were really good at that time. So this was my learning from this incident.
Awesome. So if you realized, his format was resolution, conflict, and information. He provided all the information at the end. He started with the resolution. He told us what had happened to him first. Then he went into what exactly happened, and then he just gave us an overview on who he was and what he was trying to do. So that is also an amazing format. So very well said, Harrier. Very well.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll go to the next story, please.
Okay, so there was this girl who started like a fan page for one of her favorite actors. She kept working on it every day, daily, trying to make interesting content, just in order to show her appreciation towards him. Slowly and steadily, as her page grew, his team took notice of her fan page, and they kept following and seeing what she's up to. When this girl finally went to an event to meet this actor, her team recognized that it was her, and the actor himself recognized that it's her who's running this page. The team slowly and steadily, they kept in touch with the girl. They said that once you're done with your studies and all of that, you just get back to us. And so she did. She was called for an interview, and then she was hired, because not just because of the work on the fan page, her other work as well. So she was very excited when she was doing this job, but eventually she had to leave, so she was really upset about that. But one good thing that happened while leaving was the last project that she worked on was this actor's new movie announcement. So yeah, so that
amazing.
girl was me.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Awesome. So Ria, this is a very standard form of storytelling. You went very organically or very linear in your storytelling. What would make and it's very inspirational for us to listen. So what would make it more exciting is if you had started with the conflict. Like you would have mentioned what you always wanted to do, or where
All right,
would
got
you
it.
like to be sometime. All right, if you had started from there, and then if you had taken us into your journey of that incident that happened with you, it would have been more interesting. All right, we'll go for the last story.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
So may I? Okay, Shreyas, you can go.
Wait,
That's fine,
Nishita, we'll
Nishita,
take
you
your
can.
story and we'll take Shreya's also. So Shreyas, aap boliye.
Sir, actually, like I have some kind of disturbance around me, so it's okay if Nishida wants to tell.
No, it's okay. We can hear
Yeah.
you, Shreyas. You speak.
So,
And
sir,
you're very funny also.
yeah, actually, my story is not very serious at all. It's kind of fun only because the characters of the story are like that. So, the story is about a guy called Shreyas Joshi, and the story is when he is 18 years old, and he has just got the right to like get his license to drive a drive a bike or a car. And today is the day. Uh, Today is the day which like it's gonna be his driving test today. And sir, when the story is taking place, is that time of the year when is that time when the new um, online test had been started. And so the story is in Kalyan. Story is in Kalyan RTO, and Shreyas is there. He has a twin sister along with him, and they are both attending the test for the first time. And as they are attending the online, like the computer version of the test, so the person who is like the moderator of the examination is himself giving out the answers to the whole class. And the test is of 30 marks, and to qualify I have to score 25 out of it. And I've been riding my bike before the test for about 3 4 years at that time. And my sister was like a newbie to driving. But when the results came out, it was like my sister had qualified, but I had failed. Even though the moderator was giving out whole all the 30 answers, and I I, I typed it actually very rightly, but still I got failed. And then I thought that like it's not the actual way that I should be getting my license. It's like a corrupt place. But then eventually after 2 3 days I passed the test, then did the physical test one, which I had to ride the bike and the car, and got passed in it. But after that, when I was about to get my license, I went to the officer thing, the RTO officer, and then he asked me certain signs and symbols. And at that stage, I again got failed. And then he said me that take a appointment online again and then come again. So I had wasted a whole 3 days of my life, and he wanted me to come another day. So that time I thought that to beat a uh, corrupt service, we
System,
ourselves
yeah.
need, yeah, corrupt system, we ourselves need to be corrupt. So I called a person which I knew and which would be helpful. He called the officer directly, and I got my license within 2 hours. So the moral of my story would be like you need to be smart and you need to do tit for tat.
Or you need to migrate to Delhi. Okay, that was an amazing story. So if you notice, he took us through 3 to 4 years of his life. Okay, so he went very non-linear with his storytelling, and that is amazing. So if you've noticed, Nishita, we are going to listen to your story. Okay, so if you've noticed, we have learned short and long format of storytelling. We have understood that. We have understood structure. Okay, we have understood in some cases of writing formats, copywriting, or social messaging or social media writing. uh, what else did you notice in our 50 or 55 minutes of this conversation was something that we learned? Did you guys notice anything? Did you guys notice the kind of story that Shreyas told us, Anit told us, uh, Ria told us? Did you notice something different in these stories? It's the genre. Okay. So Annette told us a thriller, and Keith told us a thriller. Ria told us an inspirational story. Shreyas told us a funny story. So you notice this is genre of storytelling. So coming, Nishita, we'll come back to you. Okay, wait, give me a second. So coming to the business of content, the business of content is all about how you value the content. So how do you value the content? You value the content in terms of its freshness, whether it's new content or it's old content, the kind of genre your markets demand, or who your audience is, what your audience likes, what kind of storytelling your platform is allowing you. So if you're on Instagram, you're probably telling, a 30-second reel format of storytelling. If you're a feature film director like Mr. Kushal Srivastava, you'll be telling a long format of storytelling. You get me? So, and there is a structure of storytelling. So that is how you value your content. So once you have created something on paper, you execute it, you go into the execution stage, or like in filmmaking it's called principal photography, and then you get into post production. That's your cleanups, your editing, enhancing of the visual, enhancing of sound, and that's where you create a final product. This type of content can be sold on three platforms primarily. I'll just conclude this talk with the three platforms being, in the entertainment business: film, television, and digital. uh, Digital platform can be monetized into OTTs. OTTs are basically the Netflix, Amazons, SonyLIVs of the world that will buy this kind of content, or social media content, social media verticals like Instagram, Facebook, where you can monetize your content, including YouTube. Nishida, can you recite your story to us, please?
Yes, it's not a long, so it's a short one. What happened? Like, it was during the second wave of the lockdown. It got opened, so I wanted to take a book for myself. So the store was far by, so I decided to go on my Activa, and I forgot to wear a helmet. So as soon as I crossed the signal, I got caught by a traffic police officer. I was unaware who the traffic police officer was. When I got home, I saw the story of my friend, and it came like it found I found out that it is dad who caught me, and I had to pay each challan for it.
Oh my God. Amazing. So what is the takeaway from this story? Can anybody tell me? Since we have been providing social messages after every story.
Wear a helmet so you don't have to pay for challan.
Absolutely, absolutely. So now you understand the structure in which everybody has been telling their stories, the genre, the format, whether it's a short format, whether it's a long format, and it's you develop this sixth sense where you feel that if I process this kind of storytelling or whatever I've written down in the form of visuals, which is the best platform to showcase it as. So from that platform you develop the kind of business that kind of content would generate. तो अगर आप उसे सिर्फ एक कॉपीराइटर के हिसाब से आप लिख रहे हो, आप उसको एडवर्टाइजिंग बिजनेस में ले जा सकते हो, आप उसे जर्नलिज्म में ले जा सकते हो. अगर आप उसको और एलैबोरेट करके डायलॉग्स के साथ, लोकेशन के साथ लिख सकते हो, तो आप उसको फिल्म एंड टेलीविजन, आप उसको ओटीटी बिजनेस एज अ सीरीज और एज अ शॉर्ट फिल्म is what you can portray that or showcase it as. Let me take any questions that you have.
So I'd like to know how, how do you tell parallel stories while maintaining the, your main character or your protagonist story, but also
Have a
saying,
start point and the end point. Okay, what you need to do is you need to match your start point and your end point if you want to do that. Number two is there will be pointers within those two parallel stories that are common. Okay, so bring those two pointers in line. So let's assume if your story starts at A and it ends at D, okay, and you have common points of B and C, so bring B and C in line, okay, and then align A, B, and C, D together, okay, and then you have something like Inception.
So, one question. So, when you were part of this Tamil film with Surya, starring Surya, called Seven, is it? Am I right, sir? Because I just googled.
Seven O Maribu.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for the pronunciation.
I don't know
So,
Tamil, but I think it's called A O Maribu or something like that.
yeah, because the Hindi dubbing, when it was dubbed, it was called as Chennai versus China. So majority guys
Okay.
may recall it as Chennai versus China. Yes, sir. My question is like, how do you think that exactly the Hindi cinema or the Indian space is trying to cope up with the science fiction genre, because that's a pretty science fiction genre as well as a bit of mythological. And then you worked, or you can say, you saw Passengers. So how exactly Indian cinema is evolving in terms of science fiction genre and its writing, as well as the execution?
I think it all zeroes down to how much viewers we have for this type of genre. Unfortunately, it is a very niche market right now in India. Why? Because we as Indian audiences have not been tuned to cope with science fiction as such. Uh, because most of us are, tuned to watch drama or comedy. So some genres like thriller, suspense, science fiction, like you rightly meant, in India, unfortunately, are very niche genres. Also, there is a flip side to this. Compared to some like the West, for example, like Hollywood, we are yet to reach that kind of, if I can put it in very simple words, technical soundness. Because in terms of storytelling, yes, we can write science fiction, but in terms of executing something like science fiction and convincing the viewer that this is how the future is going to be, or this is how it will be in future, is a challenge right now. I hope I've answered your question, Harrier.
Yes, sir.
I would like to introduce the next speaker, who is a very good friend of mine and who has been a support throughout my MET journey that I told you, and throughout my life till date. And he's still here listening to my talk right now. I'd like to introduce a genius of a filmmaker, a genius of a storyteller, and we are all, blessed to have him here on this platform, Mr. Kushal Srivastava. Over to Kushal. Hi, Kushal.
Hi, bro. Yeah, hi guys. How are you?
Hello, sir. We're very good. Thank you. Good evening, class. Today we have Kushal Srivastava. He's a director and producer of the feature film Vodka Diaries, starring KK Menon, Mandira Bedi, and many such stars. He has also directed several TVCs, corporate films, PSAs, and music videos. Now, he has been awarded recently with the UP Ratan Samman in 2021 by Mrs. Smriti Irani herself. He did his master's from mass media from our very own MET and his MBA from Symbiosis Center for Distance Learning. And he's here today to talk to us. He's back to his alma mater. And I give the platform to him to take over. And I'm sure we have a lot to learn from you, sir.
Thank you so much. I learned everything from MET only. I don't know what would happen without MET. So, had I not joined the MET college, uh, I learned everything about filmmaking from MET. I got my first internship from MET, first job from MET, and uh, whatever I know about cinema, MET has a lot of contribution.
Starting off, sir, I'd like you to take us through your journey from as soon as you passed out from MET and then to producing Vodka Diaries.
First of all, MET itself was a journey of 1.5 years, and it's a memorable journey. It's a very important part of my life. First time I had come to Bombay for that longer period, and I got so many friends in MET, which gave me a lot of confidence. Especially Pep, who's my best friend. He changed a lot of things in me. He changed from the my wardrobe, my film library, everything. Pep and few other friends helped me a lot in understanding the cinema. They were good teachers, and I got very good friends. And like I don't know much about technical stuff, so Pep used to tell me about those things. Until today, whenever I am stuck somewhere, I call. He's the first person I call. So there are a few other friends from MET who keep helping each other. I like that spirit because everybody wants to make good film, good ad film, good feature film, and so they help each other, not just from our own batch. From one batch was our senior, and junior batches also. They all stay in touch and they keep helping each other. So it was a very learning experience in MET, and It gave me a lot of confidence that whatever dream I have, I can achieve. That confidence I got from MET only. So after that, I made a short film in MET, which got recognized, and Amir Khan ji gave me Best Director Award for that short film, which changed so many things in my life at that point of time. I got acceptance in film society that yeah, he has done something. Then I went to Mr. JP Datta and I told him that I'm ex-Air Force. I served there for 7 years before joining MET. So I told him that I got this award because I made a film on terrorism and I'm ex-Air Force. So that's how I got my entry in JP Films, and I worked there for around three years. And then I started assisting Mr. Anurag Basuji in ad films. So I did few ads with him, and I opened my own production house. Till that time, I thought that I now understand the craft of filmmaking, and nobody was giving me chance to make a film directly. So I started producing ad films and producing and directing ad films. And I made a lot of short films, ad films, music videos, corporate films with many brands and with many stars as brand ambassador. So then, after around 7 years after MET, in 2000, I passed out in 2007. So Vodka Diaries happened around 2016. I started in writing in 2015, then it started in 2016 and got released in 2018 January. So it was a long journey.
Definitely, sir. And I think it's a really inspiring one. Like you keep mentioning the relationship you have with Pep, sir. And
Yeah.
we as students now of the M17 batch really look up to the both of you, where you've helped each other in your own industries to come up and reach the stage that you are on now. So it's really inspiring. So, sir, you've
Actually, when I came to Bombay, I had no friends. When I joined MET, suddenly I had around 80 friends. And after they passed out, everybody joined a different place,
yeah.
workplace. So I knew 80 organizations actually. I
Wow.
could go to them. So that helps a lot in our industry when people know each other, because that is what it is that I understood. So whenever I write something, I call Pep, and whenever he writes something, he calls me, and we discuss, and then we decide how to go ahead about it.
That's lovely. So, sir, you've told us that you've directed a lot of TVCs, films, short films, and music videos. Now, these are different formats of, content. So, which one, according to you, was the most challenging and why?
Everything has its own challenge, because when you are making an ad film, you have to say a story in like 30 seconds or 45 seconds. So that is the biggest challenge. The most challenging platform is a feature film, because it's very difficult to get your first feature film. And the process of approaching a producer, writing a story, then approaching a producer, actors, and making a film, then releasing a feature film, it's a very huge thing in itself. So that is the most difficult thing. Otherwise, every platform has its own challenge actually.
And how different is it making a PSA? As in, I'm guessing PSA will have a different approach to the, process of making it, or is it the same?
It's same. People help you when you are making PSA, because they know that it's for social cause and other stuff. So everybody is helpful around you, but there's no difference. You have to say a story. You have to send a message across, and you have to deliver a message actually to a lot of people. So that same thing you are doing when you are making an ad film, or you are saying a story in a long platform also.
So the process remains the same, but there's a lot of support when you're making a public services
Yeah,
announcement.
you are doing a good thing, so you have a feel good from the start itself. You are doing a good job.
Definitely. So, sir, can you tell us something about your first short film that won? Can you tell us about Kafir, your first short film?
Yeah, we were sitting in a class and somebody came from filmaka.in and we were telling stories. So we were, they gave few pictures to find a story, to take out a
Hmm.
story from those pictures. And I just went to make fun of it.
Okay.
And Pep and I were sitting and I said कि अभी मैं वाट लगा देता हूँ इनकी और मैंने कुछ भलता ही स्टोरी उनको सुनाया कि मतलब कुछ बिस्किट्स थे कुछ कुछ वैम्पायर टाइप का कोई आदमी था तो मैंने बोला बस पार्ले जी खा के आदमी ऐसा हो जाता है तो everybody was laughing and they got very happy and Filmaka guys got impressed that he's telling a
Hmm.
random story so they gave me first short film they said we will produce your first short film
Okay.
and MET supported me they gave me the equipments and other things
Resources for it.
yeah.
And then Filmaka approached you and were the production for this, and you were the
Yeah.
photographer. Mm. So you were one man army on this entire film.
No, I wrote the script with my pep and other friends in that time in my group, and then Filmaka gave us four films. So I gave it to my four friends, and we all made it together. They directed it.
That's great. So four,
Yeah,
five of you all made different short films
yeah,
together.
yeah.
So could you tell us about your experience making the job with Kalki Kochling?
So that was I produced that film in my production house, and it was directed by my friend Mr. Siddharth Sinha. He's from FTI. So I was writing after MET. I started writing a lot of stuff. So I used to write a film with Mr. Siddharth Sinha, and when I started my feature film Vodka Diaries, so he came to me with a script. I liked it very much, and I said I will try to produce it. I'll find somebody who can produce it, or I'll help you. So we started approaching actors. So we met Kalki, and she agreed to do that. And we didn't have money, so what happened actually? Kalki said yes, but you'll have to shoot this weekend only because I was going to Dubai for a shoot, which got cancelled. So I have 2 days right now. So you'll have to shoot right away. So we didn't have a producer, and I tried to approach few brands, but the story was very dark and different. So nobody got ready immediately. So I said, okay, I'll put my money, and I made it in my own production house. So we sat with the script and with the pre-production. Kalki was very helpful on the set also. Uh, Second day she was not well, but entire day it was a long shoot. She kept working with us, and she did a brilliant job, I guess. And it got nominated in Filmfare also.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
So coming to one of my last set of questions, and we'll open up to the forum.
Yeah.
How is your process on the? I think you're working on a film which is in
Yeah.
regards to the Indian Air Force.
Yeah.
So you tell us a little bit about what you're working on and what is the story going to be about.
See, I think it's a dream project for me. And I remember it correctly after MET. Pep has written a story on Indian Air Force. So I heard that story. I liked the background of the story, and it was in my mind since then. Or I worked in Indian Air Force for 7 years, so uh, Air Force is like first love for me. So after I finished Vodka Diaries, Pep only made me meet Jungly Pictures. They wanted to make a film on Indian Air Force, but that was a different subject. So I went and approached Indian Air Force. So they said no for that subject, but they gave me another one. So I said, okay, I'll start working on it. So I asked Jungly Pictures, so they said no, we just wanted to make that subject only. We are not interested in anything else. So they didn't listen also. So Indian Air Force gave me a list of people who were involved in some particular war. So I went to meet them with my team. So some were based in Hyderabad, Bangalore, Pune, uh, Chandigarh, Delhi. So I made few trips and I wrote a story. Then it got approved by Defense, MOD, and Air Force. I got all the permissions from them. Now I'm approaching the studios.
Okay. So is it more towards the docu kind of a film that we're going to watch, or is it
No, it's
fiction?
a hardcore Air Force war film. Yeah, it's a true story, but it's not a documentary.
Okay, we're really looking forward to that film, sir, because
Thank you.
you've also worked in that. So, you have a deeper knowledge of the film that
Yeah,
you're making, and I'm pretty sure that it's going to be wonderful.
yeah. A lot of
So,
people are supporting me. Mr. Vishal Bhardwaj has agreed to give the music. Mukesh Chabra is doing the casting, and Sabu Cyril is the production designer, who's a
hopefully,
production designer of RRR and Bahubali.
yes.
So Rasul Pokutti said nice things about my film, and he agreed to do the sound designing. So I'll tell you one thing, that people support you when they see a person is passionately working and he has good intention. He wants to make a good cinema. Everybody wants to support you then. So just keep working and keep showing them that you are passionate and you are hardworking and you have your focus on it. Like Kalki worked for free for 2 days because she just liked the concept. She believed in that. So there are people who believe in you once you are honest to yourself and your job.
So I think that's a wonderful thing you've told us, sir. And listening to the lineup itself, I'm just wondering when the film is going to be out for me to go and watch it. And now I'll open the panel to the students in class. If you all have any questions, so can you spare a few minutes for questions?
Sure, 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 sure.
Harshita, you can ask your question.
Thanks, Anet. Hello, sir. I'm
Hi.
Harshita. So it's not a question. It's just for my understanding. Like you are both writer and director, and director is basic. Am I audible? Anet,
Yeah.
okay.
Yes,
So
yes.
director is basically a storyteller. So
Yeah.
is it important for a director to be a writer as well? If what if he struggle in writing, or he just I mean
So
like
that is not required actually. Nothing is necessary for becoming a director. You don't need to be a writer for becoming a director. You must have a vision. If a story is given to you, you can design it, and you need to know the right people who can make this film, either the cast or the crew, and you need to find correct people to do that job who understand your vision. That is the work of director. Even the technical things that can be done by the technicians. You should know the craft of filmmaking and storytelling. So you should focus on that.
okay, so it's not necessary to like to direct a film.
There
You
are
have
very
to be right. Sorry.
there there are many directors who don't write, who have
Yeah.
big writers, and there are many directors who write. So that is good for them because it helps them. There are good directors who can shoot also, so they don't need a DOP for their film because they are shooting their own film. So it must be helping them. But if you don't know to operate a camera, that is not a problem in filmmaking. There are people. You find the correct people. That's it. They will. I think direction is very easy. You find correct people and get it done. Let them execute. Just tell the vision and they'll follow.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So basically, we are learning a new subject in direction as well as script writing. So while a professor was sharing about, so he was telling कि writing a story, there are no one genre you can write. मतलब the story won't fit into one genre, but into many genres. So while writing Vodka Diaries, or you can say कि how exactly you try to include certain genre like bringing the sort of feel good angle or the genre, or you can say ki the thriller total genre. So how exactly a process of a writer stays while writing the script? For example, you writing the Vodka Diary, so what all genre you decided while writing that thing? Because you know it's a thriller, but additional which all genre you tried to inculcate in that film?
See, while writing, you don't decide the genre. Story will tell you what genre it has. You need to find the root of a story, why you want to say a story, and what is the base, what is the foundation of your story. So you find a scenario that this is the plot, this is the story. Then you think about a character, why he is doing that, what is his motive, what is the process. Understand your character. So when I was writing Vodka Diaries with my writer, Vaibhav, so we made this character, the ACP Ashwini Dikshit, how he will perform, how he will do it. So we just thought, what if this happens to him? How he will behave in this particular situation? So we thought, no, he will not directly answer. He is a man of few words. So we designed a character. He is speaking for himself after we have finalized that this is the man. So we they might have references for that that person is very similar to our story. So once you achieve the correct character sketch of your all the characters, and you have a destination or movement towards something, so a story will grow. And it's a process which might take time, and which it might happen quickly also. But you don't decide genre before writing it. And I'm telling you, there are no rules. There might be writers who will decide that this is there are three genre in my story. It's romantic, it's funny, and thrill also. So listen to everyone, but find your own path. कि हाँ मैं इस चीज में comfortable हूँ. I will do this way only, and that will be the best thing for you.
Sure, sir.
There are no rules in filmmaking. There are few rules written. You should know the rules to break them. While you are breaking, it should not happen that you didn't know कि ऐसा भी होता है. You should know that these are the fundamental rules, and now I'm breaking these rules.
Thank you, sir.
So one teacher will tell his side of story, how he thinks, how he works. So you understand his vision, his whatever he's saying, but you decide for your own self. When you are writing, you should see that I'm comfortable with designing my character, or I'm comfortable designing my genre, or I'm comfortable with the basic thing जो writing में हमको सिखाई जाती है कि हम पहले इसका इंट्रोडक्शन करेंगे, फिर हम ढूंढेंगे कि इसका क्या डेस्टिनी है, फिर इसका मोटिवेशन क्या है. हाँ, बट अब ये कैसा है, ये सारी चीजें अभी लिखी गई हैं. Raj Kapoor didn't know about these things, but he was a good storyteller. Guru Dutt was not following these things because these were not created that time.
Tried and tested rather mostly. I mean,
Yeah,
you learn, you make mistakes, then you again adapt.
Correct.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for the insights.
Yeah, so I have one small question. One more question. So when you are writing a script, so what are your beliefs? Like the plot drives the story, or the character drives the story? Like
every case is a different case. at times your character is driving your story. At times your plot or genre is driving you to write a story. When I was writing Vodka Diaries, it was the character. But when I'm writing this Air Force film, I know what happened, and the journey in itself is very interesting. So then I'm writing my story and deciding the character later.
Okay, sir. So when it is a story driven, sorry, a plot driven story, so it's easy to make changes for your character. Like you can change your character like as like with the story. Yes, but if it's a character driven story, so you cannot change the character now. You just what you thought about the character, you have to like
See,
throughout the
वो
story the character.
ट्रायल एंड एरर ही है, वो आपको करके देखना पड़ेगा कि व्हाट इज वर्किंग फॉर दिस राइटिंग प्रोसेस.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So I think we have one last question from Shreyas. He says, "Sir, also tell us more about how your experience was working with the armed forces. Can you tell us about it?"
It was good. I think Air Force or Army, they are the best organizations. And the brotherhood they have, nobody has in any organization. The way they train you, they motivate you. Nobody can motivate you to die, to give your life, right? But in Air Force and Army, they motivate you to do that for your own country. Nobody else can do that. So the brotherhood we develop in each other. I had 40 entry mates. So they were like my best friends, my brother. And till today, they all are in touch with me, and we are like brothers. So they teach you a very different kind of life, which you can never get in civil.
Shreyas, does that satisfy your question?
Yes, of course.
Okay, on that note, I would really like to thank you, Kushal sir and Pep sir, for taking these sessions with us on a Saturday afternoon. Thank you so much for taking out time, sir, and coming here to speak to us. We really are very inspired looking at the fact that networking can play such an important role, and your batchmates can be your best friends in the industry and otherwise. So thank you so much for teaching us that. And I believe that you'll always be remembered by all the batches in MET. And I hope we also, come out with flying colors and be remembered as the two of you.
Sure. Thank you, and all the best for all of you. I want to see you as a filmmakers after a few years. All the very best to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Pep,
much.
sir, would you like to say something?
I thank you everybody for providing this opportunity to me to, introduce myself and spend time with you. And if I've helped you even a little bit, I'm very happy. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you
Thank you,
so
sir.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.